大家好啊，歡迎收聽華語電台 CCR 文化潮流菲律賓呢一個雙語節目。我係你哋嘅節目主持人 Janet， 以下呢2個小時我都會同大家一齊度過嘅。Hi everyone, you are listening to the Canadian Chinese radio and this is the CCR Cultural Trends of the Philippines. My name is Janet and I'm the host of this program. 嗱，大家上一集咧就已經同大家分享過，又有成功人士同我哋分享佢哋嘅故事啦，又分享過其他嘅菲律賓嘅地方食物等等。今集咧我哋又再嚟啦噃，今集我哋請嚟咗重量級嘅人馬，同我哋分享個成功史。嗱，佢就係咧 Alberto Rodel， 佢係2014年度加拿大最傑出嘅25位移民之一。It is our honor to have Mr. Alberto Rodel today to share his story as a Filipino Canadian. Good evening, Alberto.
Hi, good evening. How are you doing?
Good. And how are you doing?
I'm okay. Hey.
Good.
Yeah.
It is definitely my honor to have you here today.
Oh, thank you so much.
I read about your story and I'm really impressed.
Oh, thank you.
And I feel touched about how you helped the people and your story. So let's tell us about yourself. Like your story in Canada, let's share with the audience.
In the first place, I came to Canada with my family in December 26, 2004, almost 10 years ago.
Okay, Alberto 咧就係10年之前咧，大概2004年咧12月咧，就同佢嘅屋企人咧移民到嚟多倫多嘅。And what made you to come to Canada?
Oh, it's a family decision. So I heard that Canada is really a land of opportunities. There's a better future. The main reason here is for the future of my children. So I believe that Canada has one of the best education in North America and greater chances of getting better employment for me and my family.
OK， Alberto 咧，佢就話咧，佢嚟呢個加拿大咧，主要嘅原因咧都係因為為啲細路仔嘅。咁佢就話咧，佢就聽聞咧，呢個加拿大咧有好多唔同嘅機會。咁例如就業機會啦，同埋呢個學習嘅機會。咁佢就好希望咧，佢嘅細路咧可以喺呢一度咧得到更好嘅學習嘅機會嘅。So it's really about the family.
Yeah, correct.
So what do you like about Canada since you come for like almost 10 years?
I like Canada in many ways, but primary here is the culture. I like the culture. I like the people. This is a very friendly country, and given the opportunities by society.
咁我就問及Alberto， 佢嚟到加拿大10年啦，咁佢中意加拿大啲乜嘢呢？佢就話佢好中意呢一度嘅文化，好中意呢一度嘅人，因為覺得呢度啲人好友善。另外就覺得咧呢一度咧機會咧係比較多嘅，即係各方面嘅機會佢都覺得會比較多，咁所以佢就好中意加拿大啦。
So again, education, employment, the social services. I think this is one of the best. The health services. Which is really far different from the country where I came from, and how the government protects the society, the people themselves.
另外 Alberto 咧就話好中意呢一度嘅教育啦、就業機會，仲有咧就係我哋嘅醫療設備同埋醫療嘅服務。最重要嘅咧就係佢覺得呢一度嘅政府咧係好保護咧呢一度嘅社會嘅。And so what about the similarities and difference between Canada and the Philippines? Since you came from the Philippines, what do you find?
Well, differences is Canada is multicultural. All the nations probably in the world are here in Canada, especially here in Toronto. And similarities, we have also good people. Opportunities also there. But it's most like the better opportunity in Canada.
OK， Alberto 就話咧呢一度咧係因為多元文化，佢覺得喺加拿大同埋菲律賓有啲咩分別咧？佢就話分別就係呢度好多元文化，但係咧相同嘅地方咧，佢就覺得咧呢一度有好多好嘅人，同埋呢一度咧佢始終都覺得喺呢一度咧機會咧係多過喺菲律賓嗰度嘅。So Alberto, what did you do for a living when you are in the Philippines?
So in the Philippines, before I came to Canada, I had actually more than 20 years of work experience. I was a high school teacher, 1981 to 84.
原來 Alberto 咧喺菲律賓咧係一個中學嘅教師嚟嘅。So you are a teacher?
Yeah, high school 84. And in 1984 to 89, I worked with, I'm an agriculturist actually. I worked with the Department of Agriculture in the Philippines. So I worked with local farmers.
Farmers. OK。原來咧Alberto 咧喺84至89年咧，佢就其實咧喺個同好多農業嘅 department 啊，政府呢個部門啊，咁佢就同好多從事農業嘅人去工作嘅。OK, yeah.
So my work in the community started with working with farmers under the agriculture sector, and then from 1989 to 2001, I worked with the Land Bank of the Philippines. So in Land Bank of the Philippines, through agrarian sector or rural sector. So I work with different cooperatives, farmers, rural credit cooperatives in the Philippines.
So like they are farmers?
Not only farmers, even military cooperatives, even teachers cooperative, all forms of cooperative. I work with them.
So military. So what's the name again of the position?
I started from a collector in Land Bank, a loan collector. Loan collector, and then I moved from different position until I left Land Bank of the Philippines as a bank executive officer. So I supervise different regions in the Philippines.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So you work at a bank, but then you mainly work to approve the loan.
Yeah, to agrarian or the rural sector. So I don't really work with the banking side, but more on the agrarian side, so community development side.
咁我就問阿 Alberto 咧喺菲律賓咧仲做過啲咩工作咧？除咗係一位教師之外，佢咧原來咧就喺間銀行嗰度做過喎。由89年至到2001年咧，佢就喺一間銀行嗰度工作。咁喺銀行入邊咧，佢就做一個 loan collector， 即係做借貸嘅專員啦。咁佢就亦都係同好多唔同嘅階層嘅人士度合作過嘅。例如有幫到啲從事農業嘅人啦，亦都有幫過啲軍事啊，甚至係做老師啊，唔同嘅階層嘅人咧，佢都有幫助過佢哋嘅。咁啊，另外之後咧，佢就當然係越做越好啦。咁啊，由呢一個嘅 loan collector 咧，咁啊轉到其他嘅部門。咁啊之後咧，佢仲咧係一個 supervisor 去到管理咧唔同嘅人嘅。咁但係佢就主要咧，佢都係鍾意幫翻咧唔同階層嘅人去到攞到呢個貸款嘅。So it was a really great job.
I had a good job.
When you were in the Philippines.
So, as I've told you, just for the sake of my children, if not for them, for myself only, I will stay in the Philippines. I had a good job in the Philippines. I had my properties there, but it's really for my children.
OK. Alberto 就話咧，即係佢其實喺菲律賓咧，嘅工作咧係非常之好嘅。如果唔係為咗細路仔咧，佢就未必會考慮移民過嚟加拿大嘅。So then, what about your story? Tell us your story when you came to Canada.
My story is very long, but briefly, it's almost 5 years of struggle in physical hard labor jobs when I landed to Canada.
OK, so Alberto 啱啱嚟加拿大嘅時候咧，佢都話大部分嘅工作咧都係我哋所謂嘅 labour job， 即係勞動少少嘅工作嘅。So for example, what kind of?
So my first job was in Aramark Canada Limited actually. So I became a sandwich maker, pizza maker, dishwasher, a salad maker, all kinds of Canadian salad. I learned it through my work in Canada. Even cashier, I learned this in my first job.
OK. Alberta 就話咧，佢啱嚟到多倫多嘅時候咧，佢係真係咩都做過，幫嗰間公司去做整三文治㗎啦，整 pizza 啦，連 cashier 佢都做過。哇！一個由喺呢個菲律賓有一個咁好嘅職業嘅人嚟到加拿大要做呢啲比較低層嘅工作，過程應該係相當之痛苦。So what kind of difficulty that you think you have from all these jobs?
Because I'm not used to work in this kind of job before. So it's very hard for me to do physical jobs, and it's really frustrating because I know that I have the capabilities, I have the skills, I have the doctorate degree, honestly, but unfortunately, so I landed to those kind of jobs. I also had the cleaning experience. I was a long time cleaner in one of the seniors' home here in Toronto.
Oh, so you actually work for a senior home as a cleaner before?
Cleaner. So I work in the evening, and then for 2 years, and in the morning I went to George Brown College. I barely had 2 to 3 hours of sleep every day for 3 years. But plus I was then taking care of my family. So it's very hard. So it's really challenging. My health degraded. So so frustrating.
咁我就問到阿 Alberto 咧嚟到加拿大要做其他比較勞動性嘅工作咧，佢個感覺係點樣，同埋覺得佢最大嘅困難係乜嘢咧？佢就話覺得好難受啊，因為佢知道自己係絕對有呢個能力嘅，亦都有呢個技能嘅去做一啲好啲嘅工作，但係無奈地因為呢一度唔承認佢喺菲律賓得到嘅技能啊、學業啊等等，於是乎佢就要從事一啲勞動性嘅工作。佢甚至乎去過一啲 senior housing 嗰度咧做清潔工人嘅。咁你諗下啦，一個曾經係一位老師啦，亦都喺銀行做咗一個好高職位嘅人，但係嚟到加拿大就要做一啲個勞動性嘅工作，例如pizza maker 啊、salad maker 啊，甚至係清潔工人啊咁就已經係喺心理上已經係好難受噶啦。另外佢因為要咁樣長時期返工咧，就變咗休息唔夠啦，咁所以咧佢嘅身體嘅身體方面咧，佢都知道自己咧嘅情況咧係退步緊嘅，咁呢樣亦都係佢覺得好沮喪嘅地方。But Alberto, what made you take a course in the George Brown College?
First of all, after almost 5 years of these hard labor jobs, I decided to upgrade my skills because I know that skills upgrading, training or education upgrading will help me.
Berta 咧佢就話咧因為咧做咗咁耐嘢之後咧，佢就好希望可以提升自己嘅技能啊，咁所以咧佢就決定去 George Brown 嗰度咧就讀一個叫做 Social Service Worker 嘅 program 啦。
Social Service Worker Program. So I choose Social Service Worker Program. This is because this works with the community. So I want a job that is something like related to my past job in the Philippines. So I love a job that is helping people. So especially the new immigrants, I need to help them, and I don't want them to experience what I experienced before.
因為 Alberto 咧，佢就話咧，好似喺菲律賓度做呢一個嘅銀行入邊嗰個部門咁咧，其實佢都係幫緊人嘅。咁所以佢好想揾一份工咧，係類似喺去菲律賓呢份工作咁，同一時間可以幫到人嘅。尤其是大家都係新移民嘅話咧，佢就好希望可以咧幫到佢嘅同伴啦。So basically, you are still working.
Yeah.
When you are studying. So
cleaner.
Every day.
Every day. So
you are actually working, sleep for a few hours, and then get back to George Brown. Yeah. Wow. That is amazing.
Yeah, I put the challenge here is when you had a test examination in school. So I put my reviewer on top of the garbage bin I was pushing. So I glanced at it while pushing the garbage. I was so tired. I was so hungry. But I have high spirit and courage to do it.
OK， 我非常之欣賞，因為 Alberto 咧佢就話佢因為佢又要返工啦，又要讀書喎，咁佢話最難咧就係有考試啊，有測驗嘅時候咧，佢就點樣咧？佢就將嗰張要讀書嘅紙咧，就擺喺一個垃圾車上邊，一路推一路讀，一路推一路讀。我覺得非常之厲害，非常之厲害。That's really impressed me, Alberto. And I think soon after graduation, you got a job like from TNO. Is that right?
No.
Well, so when did you start your career?
After graduation, I volunteered to 11 organizations.
Oh, you volunteered?
I volunteered. So after, because I need Canadian experience in social service work, in community work. So the best thing for me to get the Canadian experience is volunteer. So for 4 months, straight 4 months, Monday to Sunday, I volunteered to this 11 organization, and one of this organization is TNO, or Turnkey Network Office.
Oh, okay. Alberto 咧，佢就話因為佢一畢咗業咧，其實佢係未有工住，但係咧佢就需要啲咩？佢需要個經驗，而喺加拿大咧最好嘅經驗咧就係做義工啦。咁佢就喺唔同嘅地方度做義工啦，就係希望可以攞多啲經驗啦，關於 social service worker 呢一樣嘢。咁佢其中一間服務嘅公司咧就係叫 TNO Thorncliffe Neighbourhood Office。咁呢一個亦都係佢咧之後咧喺嗰度做嘢嘅一個地方嚟嘅。So after how long you actually joined TNO for like a full-time worker?
So after 4 months of volunteering, there was a vacant position of settlement worker for seniors actually. So because I was already there, gaining experience as volunteer, I luckily got the position. I applied to the position. I competed with other candidate, but because it's networking. When you volunteer, you network. Yeah. So that's how I get position.
OK， Alberto 就話咧，佢做咗4個月嘅義工，咁咧終於就有一個位置咧空缺嘅，就係叫做 settlement 嘅officer。咁樣咧呢一個工作嘅機會咧就佢就即刻把握啦。咁佢就話因為佢有好多呢個嘅義工嘅經驗，咁所以咧佢就可以得到呢一個工作啦。So it's good. And when after you started working for TNO, I think you are still providing some free services to the newcomers.
Yeah,
Yes.
That's part of being a settlement worker for seniors. I was given an assignment to help as help or a support worker for live-in caregivers, because our live-in caregivers clients grew in number. So from there on, I was working with seniors then as live-in caregivers, and I provide them with free services, in the sense that these caregivers had no enough money to pay with the immigration consultant, with the lawyers. And when I asked the caregiver clients, how come you come to me? They say, we don't have enough money for the consultant. They were asking me around $3,000 to $5,000 per head. So luckily, I was able to serve free. It's more than 400 caregivers free of charge. So that's why how I gained the confidence, how I gained the care of the caregivers.
Oh, okay. So, but you basically just help them for free.
For free.
Okay. How did they how did you approach them?
They learned that TNO is supporting live-in caregivers free of charge. So word of mouth. So they came to our office and seek help.
Okay. Yeah. So Alberto 咧，佢就話咧因為其實 Alberto 咧就有一個好好嘅使命嘅，佢就除咗工作之外咧，就算佢得到一份 full time 嘅工作咧，佢都仲係咧為一啲新嘅移民咧去提供一啲免費嘅服務嘅。而當中咧最大嘅即係受惠嘅人士咧，就係我哋所謂嘅 live-in caregiver， 就係咧嚟喺菲律賓嚟到加拿大咧，就為呢個嘅屋企服務呢啲護理人員，咁通常都會喺埋呢個屋企度住嘅。咁因為佢哋知道咧 TNO 咧係一個組織咧係可以唔需要收錢去幫佢哋服務嘅，咁所以咧佢哋咧就去求助啦於阿 Alberto 啦，咁Alberto 咧就話成日都幫佢哋免費服務，咁其中一個使命亦都係佢話其中一個嘅工作嚟嘅。What was the motivation, Alberto, to help them? What was the motivation?
I did desire to help people.
Yeah,
because even I was a young boy, I really want to help. I am happier if I help people, if I help somebody who's in need. So, yep.
I like this. I like this idea a lot. 我問阿 Alberto 其實你有咩動力嘅咧？去幫人又唔收錢咁佢就話冇。其實我天生就係中意幫人，因為幫咗人咧，佢會開心啲。咁我就非常之欣賞佢呢一種嘅性格嘅。Alberto, you have helped so many people, so many newcomers, so many live-in caregivers. Any special or any like remarkable experience you had?
Yeah, I have. But I would like to mention one which is very really memorable for me, where my awards rooted. If you remember, I was in the newspaper Toronto Star and Metro in 2012. So I helped a client, a live-in caregiver who passed away, who passed away by lung cancer.
OK， 佢就話我問Alberto 咧有啲乜幫咗咁多嘅人咧，有咩難忘經驗啦？咁佢而家就開始分享佢其中一個故事。佢就話2012年嘅時候咧，其中有一個護理人員咧，就因為癌症咧就逝世。
So to explore this, what happened is this live-in caregiver was our client, and she had no relatives or whatever, or no resources, and I helped her in getting full-time job. There was a letter from CIC that CIC is asking her to go because of loss of status, but through our office help, so we were able to assist the live-in caregivers. But unfortunately, she was she got ill, and she died of lung cancer. And the problem is, before she died, she told me, "Can you help me to repatriate my body to the Philippines?" So I was.
Alberto 咧就分享咧呢一位嘅護理人員咧，佢喺多倫多咧就冇親人嘅，咁Alberto 咧就幫佢揾到一份全職嘅工作啦。咁但係好不幸咧，呢一位嘅護理人員咧佢就病咗，咁佢就得到呢一個肺癌。咁佢臨終之前咧，佢就同Alberto 講，佢好希望咧可以將佢個遺體咧帶翻去 Philippines。So yeah, what did you do then?
So first of all, this is not part of my job description to fundraise money, but I did it for humanitarian cause. So through my connection, so through my network, through my friends across the world, I am still connected with my students in the Philippines in 1981 to 84. So we're able to raise fund $14,000. $14,000 to repatriate the body of the caregiver. Her name is Girlie Juquino. So the funeral is just asking for $6,500. So there was enough money, and the balance or the rest of the money was sent to her mother because she came from the poor community. We sent the rest of the money to her mother in the Philippines. In fact, I have a car. I had a car. I sold my car, and all the proceeds were given to the dead.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
That's very touched. Alberto 咧，佢就話因為呢一位嘅護理人員咧，就同佢講，佢好想佢個遺體可以運翻去菲律賓，咁但係就冇錢，因為咧呢一個費用係比較昂貴嘅。咁Alberto 佢就話佢就做咗一樣未做過嘅嘢，就係籌錢啦。就係 fundraise 我哋叫做，咁佢就用佢嘅人際關係啊，同埋朋友啊，咁就去勸人哋捐款俾呢一位護理人員啦。咁佢就籌到咧14,000蚊嘅，咁而做呢一個即係運送遺體呢一個嘅服務咧，其實就6,500蚊嘅需要。咁剩翻嘅 balance 咧。Alberto 咧就將佢俾咗呢位護理人員嘅媽咪，咁Alberto 仲話咧，其實佢自己有架車咧，都決定買埋架車咧去幫呢一位護理人員，非常之有心嘅一位人士。I am impressed, Alberto. I am impressed. Like this is for sure a very special experience. And I also know that besides your help with the living caregiver, you also form a senior network.
Yeah.
Yeah, under TNO.
TNO.
Yes.
Yeah.
Can you tell us more about this?
So being a settlement worker, doing one-on-one services for seniors, especially the newcomer seniors, I had to develop programs for seniors. So I realized that these seniors must live actively and productively. We don't want them to die in a way that they were helpless, something like I want them to live longer. So I developed programs. Actually, I had no experience in this seniors program, but through research, through asking the experts, I developed different health, social, recreational, even mental services for seniors. And then from a small group of seniors, from a core group of seniors, it grew by number. So we have almost 1,000 members of multicultural seniors in a Thorncliffe neighborhood office. So because of this, seniors from different cultures, because Thorncliffe is really multicultural. We have here the seniors or people from Pakistan, Afghanistan, from the Philippines, from China, so name it, from Asian countries, even in African countries. I bring them together in a network. So there was harmony, keeping peace, and engagement. So it promotes a solid Thorncliffe community, and Thorncliffe Seniors Program is one of the best or one of the model programs in Ontario.
So not just the Philippines, you're actually bringing all the members from Asia.
Yes, because I want them to be friends, to be engaged, and share their own skills. Remember, the seniors, many of the seniors were retired professionals. So identify the skills of each senior and then translate it. I'll ask them to volunteer and help those who are really in need.
OK，咁我就問到咧 Alberto 咧，佢就其實咧就成立咗一個叫做 TNO Senior Network 嘅，咁顧名思義就係為啲長者服務啦。咁我就問佢其實係關於啲乜嘢嘅咧？咁佢就話作為一個 settlement worker 咧，佢係仲要係一個專注喺長者嘅settlement worker 咧，佢就成立咗好多嘅唔同嘅 program 去到幫助啲長者嘅，因為佢個宗旨就係佢唔想咧呢啲曾經都係其實都係 professional 嘅啲長者，佢就唔想佢哋咧好似毫無希望咁樣咧就過世，佢就好希望佢哋帶給佢哋多啲嘅生氣。咁佢就提供好多唔同嘅服務嘅，因為佢就見到呢一啲長者嘅人數咧即係開始上升啦。咁就提供除咗提供一啲唔同嘅活動之外咧，仲有一啲mental service， 即係我哋話心理上邊嘅一啲嘅服務俾佢哋嘅。咁佢話而家嘅人數已經去到成1000人以上㗎啦。咁好多唔同嘅族裔都有，並唔係真係淨係菲律賓嘅，佢基本上咧就將巴基斯坦啊、中國啊好多亞洲嘅國家嘅人士咧，嘅長者嘅人士咧，都聚集埋咗一齊。咁佢主要咧係想令到佢哋有一種好和諧啊、好和平嘅感覺咧，希望佢哋可以透過多啲嘅活動咧，去到覺得人生係覺得好過啲嘅。So that's very meaningful, Alberto. So let me ask you a question. For immigrants, I know the first few years aren't easy. We all know many barriers. Well, because I'm also an immigrant to Canada. But as a successful immigrant like you, what would you say to the newcomers to encourage them to as a newcomer in Canada?
As a newcomer in Canada, I could say be positive, be confident, plan, make your own plan, do the goal setting, what you really want to do. Don't stop. When you become a dishwasher, don't stop from it. I know many of the immigrants here are well educated, but think of something. Don't go outside the box. Think of something that will help you in order for you to get the desired job that you want to.
OK， 咁我就問Alberto 咧，作為一個新移民咧，尤其是頭嗰幾年啦，當然係唔容易嘅。我哋相信觀眾好多都係呢一個新移民嚟嘅，或者曾經係新移民。咁我就問到Alberto，作為一個成功嘅移民咧，咁佢會同啲新移民講啲乜嘢去鼓勵佢哋咧？咁Alberto就話永遠都係維持呢個好積極嘅態度啦，仲要有自信啦，同埋佢就話自己咧有自己嘅計劃，同埋即使咧就算你做緊洗碗嘅，都唔好放棄，你要諗一啲嘢可以令到你可以成功嘅。 Thank you, Alberto. And to you, what is the biggest challenge that you encountered as a new immigrant? Maybe you can share with the immigrants, our audience.
Yeah, I think the biggest challenge is also the biggest challenge of millions of immigrants in Canada. The non-recognition of our credentials, the non-recognition of our education. So from my degree, so from being a PhD holder, plus my more than 20 years of work experience, they don't care about this. So they don't care about this. So we'll say, what else? Where's your Canadian experience? They prepare. They prepare. The employers prepare those who are educated here in Canada. So that's the biggest challenge, and weather also a challenge for weather. We came from tropical country,
Yes.
and then we came here in a very heavy winter time. And the language. So the language. So I even attended the English conversation circle. So to develop the way you speak English, so I'm a little bit better now.
Already very lucky, because in the Philippines you still speak English.
Yes. Yeah.
Where we're from, we're not supposed to speak English.
Yeah.
Let me translate to the audience. 咁我就問到Alberto 咧，作為一個新嘅移民咧，當中佢覺得最大嘅困難、最大嘅挑戰係乜嘢啦？咁Alberto 佢就話佢覺得最大嘅困難就係加拿大咧並唔承認其他國家嘅一啲嘅即係一啲學業上嘅肯定啊，即係好似其實佢係一個 PhD 嘅，即係佢擁有 PhD 嘅學位，佢係做咗好多年嘅，喺菲律賓有好多年好嘅工作經驗，但係加拿大咧並唔承認佢嘅學位同埋佢經驗，佢永遠都係加拿大就永遠都係 looking for 一啲有加拿大工作經驗嘅人，咁所以佢覺得呢一個咧係最大嘅困難同埋挑戰。另外啦，天氣啦，相信好多聽眾都會覺得係㗎啦，天氣都會其中一樣比較大嘅困難啦，因為實在係好凍啦呢一度。咁另外就當然啦，語言啦、溝通上邊呢樣嘢，咁就要重新再學過。咁呢就係Alberto覺得咧對新移民嚟講咧比較大嘅一啲嘅挑戰同埋困難嘅。So Alberto, I know it's like you are a settlement worker. You are doing great in TNO. I know you are also a model father. How many kids you have?
So I have 3 kids.
3 kids.
The two are already done with their college and university.
Oh,
so
okay.
my youngest is just in grade 4.
Grade 4. Oh, OK. 咁我就問下Alberto啦，因為其實佢除咗係一個好成功嘅專業人士之外咧，其實佢都係一個模範父親嚟嘅。咁佢就有3個細路仔，咁有2個咧都已經係大學畢業㗎啦。咁最細一個咧就而家係讀 Grade 4嘅。So, do you want them to share your vision?
Yeah, of course. So I want them to do the same thing that I did, help others. Because I know that if you help others, there is something, a reward that's waiting for you. And that's why I was able to get this Top 25 Immigrant Award. Yeah.
You inspire them a lot, for sure.
So it's my client who voted me online in the top 25 immigrants. Because one of the message of my client is let's help Alberto now. This is the only time we can repay him because he did not ask for money for us. So they campaign for their relatives in the Philippines and around the world, my students, my friends, my seniors. They ask their children to vote for me. So that's why you will see that I am the most ordinary immigrant, but I still was able to get in the top 25, like Julie.
Great. 咁我就問到Alberto，佢會唔會鼓勵佢啲細路仔咧，都係好似佢咁要幫助別人啊，好似承繼佢呢一種嘅使命。佢就話當然啦，佢就覺得咧佢成日同佢細路仔講最緊要就係幫助別人。佢就覺得只要你幫助別人咧，人哋咧終有一日咧佢會可以即係幫翻你。佢話好似就係佢選緊呢一個Top 25 Canadian Immigrants 啦，即係咧加拿大最傑出嘅25位移 移民啦。咁佢就話當其時咧有一啲嘅即係佢自己嘅客戶咧就同佢講話，我哋要幫 Alberto 啊，呢一個係唯一一個時刻咧，我哋可以幫翻佢嘅，因為佢幫咗我哋咁多嘢，亦都冇收我哋錢嘅。咁啊而家咧我哋就可以幫翻佢啦，就係去投佢一票啦。咁佢就揾咗好多朋友啊，即係無論海內海外咧，佢都會幫助佢，就係去投Alberto 一票，就成為佢令到佢可以咧得到呢一個最傑出25位移民嘅。But yeah, Alberto, honestly, no matter what, you will get, you will be the top 25 Canadian immigrants. Yeah, your story really inspired me a lot, and really thank you for coming today. Thank you.
不如今晚就約埋班 friend 出嚟食飯咯。
好啊，除咗中國菜，有咩好介紹啊？
當然有啦，一齊去試下由享譽多倫多嘅 Casa Manila 餐廳出品嘅正宗手抓飯先。你哋夠唔夠膽接受挑戰啊？
咁過癮，有啲咩㗎？
Camayan 選用由菲律賓空運而來嘅新鮮香蕉葉做底，鋪滿香軟嘅米飯，而喺飯面更可以選擇多款菲律賓美食精華，炭烤乳豬、咖喱雞、串燒海鮮等等，超過上百款嘅 topping 任你揀啊！當然唔少得精美小食，仲有甜品添，而且每日限量供應咋。我都係快啲打電話去訂翻個位先。Casa Manila 訂座電話416-443-9654，地址879號 York Mills Road Unit 1。
Ever wonder what Filipino food tastes like? Come to Casa Manila. Let Camayan bring you back to the Philippines. Enjoy amazing dinner. Casa Manila, 416-443-9654, 879 York Mills Road, Unit 1, Toronto.
翻嚟我哋 CCR 文化潮流菲律賓，我仍然都係喺度陪伴住大家嘅。嗱，上個禮拜我哋聽過阿 Mila 咧，即係 Casa Manila Restaurant 嗰位老闆娘，咁佢就講過佢嘅故事喎，咁啊反應非常之好，咁所以咧我哋今個禮拜真係唔好等啦，即刻我哋繼續聽埋咧佢故事嘅下半 part。Last week we had Mila to share with us her story, how she started the Casa Manila restaurant, how she switched from fashion industry to the food industry. We stopped at how she made up her mind after her trip that she really wanted to get into the dining restaurant business.
What I really wanted was really to do the retreats, right? To really serve God that way through the youth. But I knew that if I bought a restaurant, that it would be very difficult for me to continue that because it would be, 24/7. So one day I prayed, I was saying, this is crazy, because what I learned in theology is you must follow your deepest desires, because your deepest desires is really aligned with God's will. This is what the biggest learning I had thought, because before I thought, desires were bad, God's will was something else, but then I found out it was the same. So you have to find out what is your deepest desires. And why is this restaurant keep coming back into my heart if I want to serve God through retreats and the youth?
Mm-hmm.
Right? I said, everybody knows it's going to time consuming. And I already had 70 retreats a year at this time. I just needed something part-time. And so one day I went to pray, and I heard, Lord, why is this in my heart? why is this desire to open this restaurant? Why am I getting this vision of how I would do it? You know, everybody knows that a restaurant is 24/7. How can I serve you if I buy this restaurant? And then, you know, it was really funny because I just heard, you know, in my heart. And then I heard, Mila, it's not what you do. It's who you are. Mm-hmm. That's how you serve me. And I just, wow, like I'm not smart enough to think of that, right? So I knew that it had to come from above, you know? And I just, instead of resisting it, I just sort of said, okay. I let the vision like really come through into my mind as to how I would, you know, I picture it. And then that's when I passed by and I just said to her, okay, let's talk.
同大家分享下先啦 ，Mila 咧佢就話佢翻嚟多倫多嘅時候咧，佢就好有疑問，點解成日都諗住開餐館嘅咧？咁啊，因為佢有宗教嘅信仰嘅，咁啊覺得如果佢有任何嘅疑問，佢就應該同佢嘅宗教信仰去到尋求個答案啦。於是乎佢祈禱啊，咁啊與神對話，咁啊最後佢就得到個結論，佢就係佢嘅神就同佢講，只要你做你自己中意嘅嘢，咁就係啱噶啦。於是乎佢就決定真係翻去做呢一個翻去呢個 customer leader， 就同佢當其時嘅前任嘅老闆呢，就去到商討呢一個開餐館嘅事啦。
And then her husband came out, you know, basically came into the picture. Well, then I went on to a food handling course and I said, oh my God, I don't know anything about food. I said, I can't do this, you know. And then I said, let's partner instead of me buying it, right? Because, you know, there's all kinds of things about temperature control, how you stack the meat on the bottom and the vegetables on the top. And I got scared. I passed the test. I became a certified food handler, but it made me a little bit saying, Mila, how can you go from fashion into interior design, then into a restaurant? Like, you're crazy. But then, so we were partners for about 2 weeks. And then my husband and I realized that the partnership wouldn't work out because we had two opposing management styles. You know, I was more into you have to spend to make, you know, and he was sort of hold back, more of accountant's view, right? Mm-hmm. So it was becoming very evident that we were not going to become good partners because the myself and her husband were the two strongest voices.
阿 Mila 翻去 Casa Manila 同佢前任嘅老闆講呢一個生意嘅時候，就同佢提議，不如我哋就合作啦。因為其實 Mila 都話自己都唔識得餐飲嘅行業嘅。以前佢係做 fashion 噶嘛，咁佢而家要去做餐飲嘅行業，咁佢都覺得應該係 partner 會好過自己做嘅。咁於是乎佢自己都會 take 咗一啲即係food and safety 嗰啲嘅 course 啦。咁啊，起碼要令到自己對餐飲業認識先，點樣去到 process 啲食物啊等等嘅嘢。咁啊，於是乎佢就同前任嘅老闆就合作啦。但係只係合作咗2個禮拜，佢就已經同佢先生講，佢知道我哋咁樣係唔 work 嘅，因為大家個理念唔同啦，大家個方向都唔同。Mila 佢就覺得咧做生意咧，你係要開源啊，要去投資落呢盤生意度，咁佢就會得到會令到盤生意會更加好嘅。咁同埋佢同前任老闆嘅先生咧，兩個都係一個好有主見嘅人，咁佢就開始覺得其實唔應該合作，我哋咁樣合作係唔 work 嘅。
So it became evident we were not going to be a good match. So we proposed to buy the whole thing.
Okay, and then that means you will be even busier.
Well, it's not, as I said. Yes, because, you know, I think you know what happened too. Like, I mean, I was in the middle of my retreats and my husband had a pre-existing heart condition that we didn't know about, you know, before buying the restaurant. And it was his medical appointment was after 3 months of buying the restaurant. He was diagnosed with having to have surgery. Oh. So I had the restaurant, you know, I had the retreats ongoing. I was not a partner anymore. I had no one to really kind of, lean on in terms of the partnership, although, they would have been there for me, but I didn't. And then at the same time, I had a husband who was in the hospital after a triple bypass. So I had this restaurant, Casa Manila, in the first 3 months, and I had this in my hands. And I said, oh my goodness, I said.
咁啊，當阿 Mila 佢決定買 Casa Manila 嘅時候咧，先至發現佢先生咧因為有心臟嘅問題，咁要住院，咁佢就覺得哇，真係會有啲咁嘅事發生嘅，即係當佢發現自己可以即係揾到一件事佢想做嘅時候，就發現呢件事啦。咁於是乎佢就要照顧佢先生，咁買就係喺佢買咗呢間餐廳之後嘅事情嚟嘅。Amila, thank you for sharing. I know that it's not easy, but then you still made it, even with the situation of your husband, and that you were not knowledgeable enough before you actually started this business, and you were switched from fashion to the food industry. But you made it. And even with like so many different types of issues and difficulties, you still made it, and I'm truly impressed and also inspired by your story. Like how you started to know the Casa Manila, and how you change your mind, and how you connect yourself back to your like favorite thing, and your routine, and your favorite thing, which is food. And of course, I know that you are running a business, and I know what made you start a business right now. What impressed me the most is how you share with me your passion in food and your intention to actually share the Filipino cuisine and the culture to everyone. And of course, I'm sure our audience would want to know about your thoughts on food. So can you share with us?
It was really in my travels that I stayed in, the best hotels. I had the opportunity, to stay in really beautiful hotels and dine in the most exquisite, restaurants, to being able to eat street food in Thailand, and to the best dim sum in Hong Kong, and the Philippines having so much, and the ability to travel and eat and enjoy food and hospitality was really exposed me to this love for food and cooking, and and I was actually cooking before leaving for the Philippines, because I did enjoy it, and I like to create. That was probably one of my art forms, was to make something. Not a baker, because a baker you have to put exactly. I like to create. I like to create, and I like to try foods, and one of my favorite leisures was to go out for dinner.
Great！ 啱啱我就問到 Mila 啦，我就話其實啦，佢頭先同我哋分享咗佢一個好嘅故事啦，就係佢點樣會買咗呢個 Casa Manila 呢一間嘅餐廳咧。咁我就問佢，其實除咗佢點樣去到做點樣可以能夠咁成功之外，佢最令我感動嘅就係佢對食物嗰種熱誠，同埋佢嗰種心態咧，就係好想去將菲律賓嘅食物同埋佢嘅文化去宣揚俾其他人嘅。咁佢就同我講，原來佢有呢一種嘅靈感啊，同埋我咁中意食嘢，咁想將一啲元素帶喺佢嘅餐廳度咧，都係透過去旅行嘅。咁因為佢就成日去旅行嘅之前，咁去過一啲好靚嘅餐廳食嘢啦，又試過食一啲街頭嘅食物啦，又食過食中國嘅點心啊，等等等等。佢自己亦都好中意煮嘢食嘅。之前呢，佢其實呢成日都煮嘢食嘅。咁但係佢係除咗中意煮嘢食之後，又好中意創造啲食物出嚟喎。佢話佢又好中意試嘢食，又好中意創造啲嘢食出嚟。咁樣等等嘅事項就令到佢對食物呢係非常之有熱誠啦。 And yes, so go on about your thoughts on food. So
Yes.
I know that you like to create food.
Yes, but it was more to enjoy the food and to see how it was presented, and realizing how we eat is really quite not just, you can just eat to fill your stomach, or you can do it for like a hobby, a leisure, a pastime. And that's exactly what it became for me. Staying in beautiful hotels and eating very nice food, whether it was on the street food or of Taipei or whether it was like an exquisite 5-star, restaurant in a beautiful hotel. So to me, food became a very expressive way, to express myself, what I like to do, along with the music. So coming back to Filipino food, and as I mentioned, in the Philippines, that's where I was able to see Filipino food presented in the most unique and diverse way. And I saw that having come back from the Philippines to Toronto, that it still had not evolved. What I was seeing in terms of Filipino food was fast food, and it was there in a counter. It was made in the morning. It would be refilled through the day, and it would be okay if you ate lunch at 11 o'clock, but if you came in at 2 o'clock, the food would be sitting in that steam counter, probably overcooked, including the vegetables. The oil would be floating to the top. Not very pretty. And not like our Chinese counterpart, everything was cooked to order and it was freshly cooked. So I was feeling, oh my goodness, and so going back, waiting, Palma Brava, theology, all of that, still nothing. And then that is what really convinced me. I says, this has to be done. And I need to, it was a matter of national pride, really, because growing up, as I mentioned to you, I didn't really have an anchor to say, this is my culture, this is my food, this is how we decorate, not like I keep mentioning Chinese, but because it was a very strong identity. And at that time, the Japanese was also very strong, and the other Asians, but yet the Filipino, nowhere in the radar screen, not even a bleep, not when it came to mainstream. Only if you were Filipino, you would know where to go. And it would normally, the Filipino, cafeteria style restaurants, it usually was a store in the front and then they had a steam counter in the back. It was frequented by Filipinos on their way home, don't have time to cook, it's there, they pick it up. But in terms of a restaurant where you could actually sit down and you could actually be part of that culture in the interior design, and that where you can actually experience the music, experience the ambiance, experience the hospitality, experience the food freshly cooked and presented in a way that brings it, to the mainstream, was non-existent still. And I think as a businesswoman, I saw that there was a niche in the market that had not yet been filled and was long overdue, because after all, we were the 4th largest ethnic group in Toronto, and Tagalog, the 5th most spoken language in Canada.
Amina 咧，佢就啱啱分享咗佢對食物嗰種態度，因為佢好中意食嘢嘅，咁佢就覺得食嘢其實就你有2種方法嘅，你可以填飽你個肚啦，但係你又可以當係一種好似hobby 咁去做嘅。咁佢就覺得咧，菲律賓嘅食物咧係好獨特，同埋有佢自己食法嘅自己嘅食法。咁佢就留意到好多地方都係可能淨係做緊啲快餐啊一類形式嘅菲律賓嘅食府。咁佢就會覺得，如果係咁嘅話，出於佢自己對佢自己國家嘅一種好尊重，同埋一種佢自己都有自己好驕傲嘅一種睇法嘅，佢都好想將佢自己國家嘅東西嘅事物嘅食物去宣揚出去。於是乎佢就開始覺得嗱，呢個係我文化嚟嘅，點解我就唔做一個餐廳，係讓啲人可以坐低舒舒服服咁 enjoy 下個環境， enjoy 下啲音樂， enjoy 下呢個真真正正菲律賓嘅食物。佢都提到其實菲律賓而家係喺多倫多基本上係第4大嘅即係族裔。咁佢點解有其他有中式嘅餐，有呢一個日本有泰國，咁點解唔可以有菲律賓嘅餐廳呢？ 於是乎佢就開始咗呢一個嘅Casa Manila 嘅呢一間餐廳啦。Mila, like I said, yes, you are so right about that. Yes, I think as you mentioned, like national pride, you want to share your culture, your food with everyone. And that is what is needed, and also the key to have a successful restaurant business.
Yes. And also, too, aside from just sharing it with other cultures, having grown up without having that cultural identity, I wanted the young people, the young Filipinos, to also be able to relate to a place where they can, bring their friends and say, yeah, come try my food. This is what, because, a lot of people knew Filipino food, but Filipinos, and they knew the food through the parties that they would be invited to. So I want, yet in family is very much our culture, but I wanted them to come to Casa Manila and see the artistry of the fellow Filipinos that that they're not with, that are in the Philippine Islands, and to be proud of it. And I think that growing up, if I had perhaps had this, I wouldn't have been so hungry, just seeking, and getting glimpses of it. So that was also part of it. And I saw the older Filipinos who really missed the Philippine Islands, and, especially the people from the provinces, the smaller islands, and I wanted it to be a place where they could come and they could, like, if they miss the Philippines, then they can come there and they can feel like they're in a little bit of, like, a piece of the Philippines. And then have my retreats also played a part. I wanted a very restful place where people can just, whether you're non-Filipino or whether you're Filipino, but to be able to come into a place and in a tropical ambiance, because after all, the Philippines is 7,100 islands, so it is tropical. But just come there, just relax, enjoy, home cooking Filipino food in a restful ambiance, as if you actually went on holidays maybe for 2 hours. So it was all in there, the vision of how I pictured Casa Manila was all summed up in my mission statement.
我好喜歡 Mila 剛才講嘅一個說法啊，因為佢講咗一句就係話佢而家好希望一啲年青嘅菲律賓籍嘅人士。佢會好想佢哋由成長嘅過程嘅時候已經有一間菲律賓嘅餐廳喺度，就唔係好似以前佢細個咁，好似要特登去揾，一直喺度揾緊屬於自己國家嘅食物。而家佢就好想start 呢一個菲律賓嘅餐廳，能夠令到年輕嘅人就完全係習慣咗，其實我哋喺加拿大都可以食到啲咁好食嘅菲律賓嘅食物。另外佢又可以咧令到掛住菲律賓嘅朋友都可以去呢一個餐廳度感受翻、懷緬翻以前菲律賓嘅時候嘅食物啦、嘅生活啊等等等等。而佢當然最大嘅一個目的啦，就係好想無論你係乜嘢人，係唔係菲律賓人都好，你都可以去呢個地方度 enjoy 下呢個音樂啊 ，enjoy 下呢個食物啊 ，enjoy 呢個環境。去講笑咁講，你咪當自己放咗2個鐘頭假，就喺呢個餐廳度放假。Amina, I like your idea. Just have 2 hours vacation.
Yeah.
In Casa Manila.
Yeah, and I want, we'll take care of you and we'll give you good, honest food. Just like, the model was after, just like my grandmother and my aunts, used to make for me every time I'd visit, it'd be very, very like a celebration, and the food, you could taste the love and the freshness because they just bought it that day at the market. And, they cooked it or had the helpers cook it up, whichever way you could taste the love. And so that was the model that I chose for Casa Manila. Not to go fusion, not to go modern, contemporary, but to really first and foremost to present the food in a way that they would have in a home. But the one twist was actually to make it in a way that it is the healthiest, the optimum health.
Great.
And because you're already starting with fresh. If you're already starting with fresh, which I do, I mean, our vegetables and our terminal fresh, like from the food terminal, and it's picked, and our meat, our beef, and our pork, and our poultry, it's all Ontario, so it's local. The footprint, it's not traveling a long way, the carbon footprint. And then why do we need to add like food flavor enhancers? Why do we really? Well, first of all, I have nothing against MSG, but personally, for me, I it's not that I'm allergic, but I don't feel good.
Yep.
After I eat, if there's a food, because I love Asian food. That for me, Asian food, I must have it 2 to 3 times a week. Okay, otherwise I don't feel right. But it had at that time back in the 80s, 90s, there was a lot of like MS, some more than others. And so that's the first thing I did was basically cut the MSG. No, we didn't add any MSG. Of course, the soy sauce is naturally fermented MSG in there. Of course, but we don't add any more to it. We didn't add any more chicken powder, any bouillon, any kind of like flavor enhancers. Open any packs that were like a flavor enhancer, and so that was the first step.
我覺得非常之好嘅 idea 就係阿 Mila 啱啱講到嘅，佢就話佢覺得佢要做呢一個餐館，好緊要嘅就係嘢食要好食，嘢食要新鮮之餘，佢就覺得所有嘢都最緊要健康啲，所以佢覺得最緊要一開始嘢食新鮮之餘，嗱佢用嘅嘢食咧全部都係佢用嘅食材啦，全部都係本地嘅，咁啊起碼唔會話 travel 一個好長嘅時間，新鮮嘅。另外，佢覺得好緊要嘅就係減少呢一個味精啦。其實味精當然大家都知道唔應該係吸取咁多嘅，於是乎佢就盡量都唔會再落其他味精落去要整嘅食物度啦。嗱，佢呢個心就已經非常之好啦，即係佢開呢一個餐廳，好想去分享菲律賓嘅食物，好想去分享菲律賓嘅文化之餘，佢亦都想大家都食得健康，食得開心。問完 Mila 咁多問題，其實有一樣嘢咧，我就成日都覺得每一個創業者無論去做邊一個範疇，都應該要問嘅。尤其是如果你嘅對象，如果你個 business 係有客人咁 involve 啊，咁呢個問題係咩咧？Mila, I so want to know, like, what do you think it is the most important element to keep customers satisfied?
I think the experience, the dining experience, right? It has to start with the food. Okay?
Oh, yes, yeah.
It has to start with the food, the quality and the taste. And if you know that it's also made in a more healthy way, but you're still enjoying the taste just as much, that is the key. Okay, number one. It's all about the food. I mean, how many times have we gone to a restaurant? We know the service isn't very good, but the food is great. We're forgiving when they make a mistake, And now I think too, like getting to that, like I was just learning. I didn't know anything about the restaurant business, and I certainly didn't know anything about cooking freshly cooked healthy food. So I'm only one person. I had to focus on the food first. And then having to organize, Filipinos to kind of like into more of a fine dining experience was a challenge for me, because we were really more used to more of a casual, here it is, we put it for you in a dish and it's ready to go. So I would say the food is the most important. If you can provide also an ambiance, where people are, for that, whether they're eating the food 15 minutes or they're taking an hour and a half to 2 hours, but they enjoy the surroundings and the atmosphere because you've made it comfortable, you've made it clean, because clean and healthy goes together. And, but you've also made it like, comfortable and very inspiring in the sense that you're in a place that you've been transported, perhaps in this case, like the Philippines. I think that's important too, the environment.
I love the idea that you are transported.
Yes.
I love that idea.
That's what was my wish. My hope was to transport you. And then now if let's put it this way on customer service, when it comes to customer service, the Europeans are the number one, and it's basically they know all of it. But I think when people know that you're doing your best, because sometimes we're a 100-seating restaurant, and sometimes we're full, and we would like you to feel that hospitality. My concept is when you walk into Casa Manila, you felt like you walked into a Filipino person's home, and they're there and they're taking care of you. Have you eaten yet? Are you thirsty? What can we get for you? That kind of feeling. We might not be formal, and we might, set the table a little bit different, but you know that we care about your experience and that we're doing our best, even though we're really, really busy. We want to get to you. And so I think they must be able to feel the heart of the business and the heart of the people. And sometimes the owner feels the passion, but how do you translate it so that the staff is also serving it with that same kind of care. We care whether you are satisfied with the food and your service, and even though you're just two people, you matter as much as that party of 20 over here, that party of 60 who just left, and that's that would be my hope that I'm working towards, is that we will be able to help people really feel that, Filipino hospitality, which is we care about your experience when you come into our home.
Great. 我問到 Amina， 佢覺得run 呢一個嘅餐廳最主要嘅元素能夠令到顧客咧去滿足嘅咧，佢就俾咗個好好嘅答案俾我。佢話最緊要就係 experience。乜嘢 experience 咧？嗱，佢個 experience 意思就即係一種體驗啦。佢話嗱，第一，無論如何，食物一定係最緊要噶啦，因為佢而家係揾緊一個餐廳嘛，餐廳梗係食物最緊要啦，食物質素之前講過噶啦，食物嘅質素、食物食得健康等等。另外就係佢覺得你要點樣能夠令到顧客賓至如歸，你要將個顧客令到個顧客覺得佢自己呢好似置身喺菲律賓一樣。嗱，餐廳嘅環境乾淨，咁呢個一定噶啦。個氣氛呢如何呢？點樣能夠令到顧客覺得舒服呢？點樣能夠令顧客覺得自己而家好似置身嘅菲律賓一樣呢？佢話佢係一個個餐廳又係一個100個座位嘅餐廳。咁你令到點樣可以令到個客人入到嚟間餐廳覺得舒服？佢就話最緊要就令到客人覺得佢而家入咗去一間菲律賓嘅一間屋企度，佢覺得咧最緊要呢一個就係佢所謂嘅體驗啦，就係覺得顧客最緊要就係有呢一種體驗。另外就係佢覺得最緊要就係顧客明白清楚知道佢哋係非常非常之關心同埋緊張佢哋點樣喺呢一間餐廳嘅所有嘅感覺嘅，包括佢對食物嗰種滿足感啦，包括佢覺得呢個環境啦、氛圍啦，同埋佢要令到顧客知道所有佢嘅員工都非常非常在意佢對食物滿足與否。Yeah, that's a great answer, and I love that, and it's particularly love you about how you transport the customer. Like to make them feel like they are in the Filipino home. Yes,
and the Philippine Islands, specifically too. So, and a few people have written, some food bloggers said if you don't have the budget to go to the Philippines, just go to Casa Manila and you'll get a piece of it right there. So I was so happy when I read that, because it's not in any of our materials. Marketing materials, but she picked it up and she just said, if you don't have the budget to go to the Philippines, but you've always wanted to go, just go to Casa Manila and you will feel it there. You will be transported.
歡迎翻嚟 CCR 文化潮流菲律賓，我 Janet 仲喺度陪伴住大家嘅。嗱，大家記唔記得上個禮拜呢，我哋就由阿 Tessa 同我哋分享咗菲律賓一個好出名嘅旅遊勝地，就叫 Boracay 啦。咁今個禮拜呢，我哋當然會仲有一個好特別嘅地方喺菲律賓嘅介紹俾大家啦。咁我哋今集呢，就請到另一位朋友呢，同我哋講下菲律賓有啲乜嘢地方好玩喎。呢位朋友呢，佢嘅名字就叫做 Joey Abrinella。咁佢有個好多個銜頭嘅，不如我哋由得佢同我哋介紹一下自己啦。Hi Joey.
Hello.
How are you?
I'm good, thanks. Yourself?
Great. First of all, thank you for coming today. I know that you are a busy person,
It's a pleasure.
and yes, and you still come here today and to talk about some places in the Philippines that you think we will be interested in going.
Yeah, sure.
So thank you for coming. And first of all, I believe it's the best to have you yourself to introduce yourself.
Yes, again, my name is Joey Abrinella, and I am the youth director of Archdiocese Filipino Catholic Mission. That's actually based in Our Lady of the Assumption. That's in Bathurst and Eglinton. And I'm also the youth director of Philippine Canadian Charitable Foundation. It's actually still with the youth. And by profession, I am an occupational therapist.
Oh, okay. Like I said, many titles. 阿 Joey 咧，佢係一個職業治療師嚟嘅。除咗咁之外咧，佢就參與好多菲律賓嘅社區入邊嘅活動嘅。例如咧一個好特別嘅銜頭就係佢係青年協會入邊咧做好多活動嘅，因為佢其實係其中嘅一個director 嚟嘅。And Joey, you are actually a busy person.
Yes, I am.
I can tell. And but I also know that you actually like traveling. Do you like traveling?
Yeah, I do.
Okay.
Yeah.
And when I talk to you on the phone, and you told me that there are so many places in the Philippines that you think is good. But what places that you bring us today?
Before I would say the places, in the Philippines, I don't know if you heard about the tagline, there's more fun in the Philippines. Mm-hmm. So, and I can mention, for now, two places,
2 places?
Cebu and Bohol.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
我就問Joey。佢一個咁忙碌嘅人，但係有啲咩嗜好呢？咁其實佢都好中意去旅行嘅。咁當我同佢聯絡嘅時候呢，佢就同我講，佢有地方介紹嘅喺菲律賓度，有地方介紹俾我哋嘅。咁佢就揀咗2個地方，一個地方呢就係叫宿務啊 Cebu， 另外一個地方就叫做Bohol。
Yeah.
咁我哋中文譯做薄荷市嘅。咁佢就話佢好想介紹呢2個地方俾我哋。點解佢會特別鍾情呢2個地方咧？問問佢先。Joey, why you pick these 2 places? Any special reason?
Oh, well, that's a good question. Aside from Cebu is the birthplace of my mom, and Bohol is also the birthplace of my dad. Yeah, but I wasn't born on those 2 places, but yeah, they're actually beautiful places.
Oh, okay. Joey 就話點解佢會揀呢2個地方？因為有情意結嘅。原來咧宿務呢個地方咧就係佢媽媽咧喺嗰度即係來自嗰度喺嗰度出生嘅，而佢爸爸咧就出生喺呢個薄荷市嘅。But you were not born there.
I wasn't born there. But I've been traveling there too. I actually studied in Cebu.
Oh, okay. Yeah. You started in Cebu and
in
the Bohol. Oh, okay, great. I have never been to both places. I searched about it. Pictures. Wow.
Yeah,
really,
right?
really
amazing,
good.
Wonderful. Yeah.
Yes. Let's start with Bohol.
Yeah, Bohol is actually the famous in Bohol is called the Chocolate Hills.
The Chocolate Hills.
Yeah, Chocolate Hills, exactly.
Great. What a good name. I'm sure all the ladies will be interested in going.
It's like chocolate, right?
Yes.
Looks like chocolate, that's why.
我就問Joey 薄荷市先啦，不如講講薄荷市呢個名字，呢個譯名已經夠特別啦。咁薄荷市有啲咩嘢 有啲乜嘢特別嘅之處咧？佢就講咗一個地方，呢個地方咧個名都好得意嘅，名字叫做 Chocolate Hills。點解會叫 Chocolate Hills 咧 ？Chocolate 即係朱古力啦。咁點解呢個地方會叫朱古力山咧？佢就話因為佢個樣好似朱古力。Joey。So you said it looks like chocolate?
Looks like chocolate. Yeah, it's nice, like kisses.
A kiss.
You know? And then there's tons of it, like thousands of it.
Oh, like there are 1,000 hills?
1,000 hills, yeah.
哇，原來佢話呢一個嘅朱古力山咧係有1000個山丘喺嗰度嘅，好厲害。咁所以1000個山丘咁多個山丘喺一個地方望落去就好似朱古力啊。Oh, that's very special. But it's supposed to be, I believe, like grasses is supposed to be green.
Yeah, it's like greenish, brownish, right?
When it's dry, maybe.
Yeah, because one of the hills is actually they made a platform there where you can actually see those chocolate hills from the top.
Okay, so actually they made a place for
where where tourists can actually stay there and then look the chocolate hills, like the amazing chocolate hills.
Wow! 原來Joey 就話佢嗰度係好多山，咁我就話其實山應該係綠色嘅，但係佢叫 Chocolate Hills 喎。原來乾旱嘅時候咧會係變咗啡啡地咁色，咁望落去咧就好似朱古力啦。而佢話菲律賓嘅嗰邊嘅省咧就整咗一個platform 咧，俾我哋呢啲旅遊嘅人士咧喺嗰度咧就觀望咁多唔同嘅山嘅。That's actually very interesting. So there is a platform for us to
see, for the tourists to see. Yeah, it's actually a restaurant. There's like
so like tourist spot.
Place. You know?
Okay.
Yeah, it's a tourist place. Yeah.
They actually make it a really special
like commercial.
spot.
Like there is gift shops. There's restaurants. And restrooms, like washroom where people can go to the washroom.
Very important.
Exactly.
原來嗰個位置咧，除咗因為當然啦，就令政府就梗係想令到佢成為一個好旅遊嘅熱點啦。有嗰個 platform 直情係有呢個餐廳啊，有呢啲其他嘅商店。俾我哋旅遊人士咧去嗰度消費，同埋去嗰度咧再 spend 耐啲嘅時間去欣賞呢個地方。So Chocolate Hills, there must be some I don't know, is that called like origin or probably legends about this place?
Yeah,
is that right?
It's very interesting that you mentioned about legends. Because there's actually four legends. How come that hills are like that?
Wow, nice. 4 legends.
4 legends. It's funny, yeah.
I love legends. I love legends. Yeah, you gotta tell me, and I gotta share with our audience. 我就問Joey 呢個地方個名字實在係太可愛啦。咁可愛嘅地方應該有啲即係特別嘅傳說啊，有特別嘅故事同我哋講下啩。佢就話真係有呢個地方唔係整一個傳說添，仲有4個咁多。哇，好期待啦！我就本身就好中意任何地方有任何嘅傳說嘅。好，聽係咩先？So 4 legends. Can you start telling us?
Yeah, sure. I can start with the first legend. Okay, there were like 2 giants who were fighting with each other, they're throwing rocks, stones, and muds. And after a couple of days of fighting, they were kind of exhausted. And then to the point that, instead of fighting, they become friends. Yeah, it's funny. They become friends. And then after that, they forgot about the fighting and everything. Then when they wanted to clean up, they found out that there's the battles, the stones, the rocks that they've been throwing became the chocolate hills. Isn't that funny?
That's funny. And they actually became friends just because they are too tired.
Yeah, exactly.
阿Joey就分享咗第一個傳說俾我哋聽啊。佢話咧，原來呢個故事就係關於2個巨人。咁呢2個巨人咧，就因為嗌緊交，咁啊有打鬥，咁啊又喺度掟晒石頭啊，又掟晒啲沙啊泥啊咁樣，去向住對方一路咁掟。咁啊呢一個嘅打鬥大概 last 咗好幾日咁樣啦。佢哋2個咧就變得好攰啦，攰到咧佢哋直情唞下唔記得咗自己打緊交嘅，最後仲變埋朋友添。 咁變朋友啊冇問題啊，點知佢哋之前呢，又抌啲石頭，又抌啲沙，又抌啲泥，就抌咗成個地方呢，都係呢啲咁嘅亂糟糟嘅嘢，咁佢哋又唔走去清潔喎，咁於是乎咧呢啲嘢乾咗之後咧，就成為而家嘅 chocolate hill 咋，因為一嚿嚿啊嘛，有趣喎 ，That's very funny.
Yeah, I know.
What about the second one?
The second one is this is quite romantic.
Wow,
Yeah.
it's for
And
women.
For women, yes. There was one giant named Arogo.
Arogo.
Yeah, who was extremely, very powerful and youthful. Arogo fell in love with Aloya.
Aloya.
Who was a simple mortal. But Aloya actually died.
Oh no.
Unfortunately, she died. And with Arogo's, he's in much pain and in misery. He's been crying. He's been crying. So when his tears dried, the chocolate hills were formed.
Wow.
Yeah.
Isn't
that romantic?
Yes, I like this one better. I like this one better.
Well, yeah, for girls.
Yes. 第二個嘅傳說咧，原來好浪漫嘅。佢就講述又係一個嘅個人啦，咁佢個名字就叫做Arogo。咁佢就喜歡上一個女仔喎，呢個女仔係凡人嚟嘅。呢個女仔嘅名字叫做 Aloya。佢中意咗佢，即係同呢個女仔即係談戀愛咁樣啦。但係阿 Aloya 咧，因為佢係凡人嚟噶嘛，咁佢就去世，而佢嘅去世咧就令到阿 Arogo 咧好痛苦，咁咧就喊到不停喊唔停啊，不停咁喊，咁於是乎佢啲眼淚咧乾咗之後咧，就形成咗而家嘅 Chocolate Hills， 而家嘅朱古力山啦。哇！呢個動人好多，我同佢講呢一個故事，我中意呢個故事多過之前嗰個。What about the third one? Is it going to be as romantic as the
No,
the
third
second
one is actually quite funny, but I would like to excuse to the people who are actually eating right now.
佢就話第三個呢，我問佢第三個會唔會好似第二個咁浪漫啊？佢就話其實好有趣嘅，但係講定先啦，如果食緊嘢嘅人呢，就最好唔好而家食啦。
Yeah. So there was like one town being attacked by a giant buffalo. Who ate all their crops in that town. And finally, having had enough, the townsfolk took all of their spoiled food. They're like trapping him. So spoiled food, they
So
put
tricky.
that to trap the giant buffalo. So obviously, he ate all those spoiled foods, right? So when he ate it, so obviously he has a diarrhea. So he defecated, and those feces, when they dried up, it was forming the chocolate hills. Legend.
This one is gross.
I know.
But it's funny. It's really funny. 第三個傳說，點解頭先阿 Joey 就叫大家即係食緊嘢嘅就唔好食住呢？因為咧呢一個故事就係講述一隻水牛啊，咁喺呢個灘度咧有隻水牛，呢隻水牛就好為食嘅，好中意食嘢嘅，成日食晒咧呢一個灘嘅農作物喎。咁啊，嗰啲喺嗰度嘅居民就已經好嬲啦！去到一個地步，好，我要對付呢隻水牛。咁啊，你哋諗到咩方法點對付佢呢？跟住設咗一個陷阱俾佢，就將一啲咧即係爛晒過咗期嘅食物咧，就擺喺一個地方，就吸引呢隻水牛去食喎。咁啊，呢隻水牛真係有殺錯冇放過，佢一定會 miss 咗呢啲嘢食嘅。咁啊，就食啦，係咁食，咁中意食嘢啦。食完嘢之後點呢？咁啊，梗係負荷唔到呢啲即係腐壞咗嘅食物啦。咁佢就點啊？肚屙咯。咁肚屙咁啊，真係有好多嘢排泄咗出嚟啦。咁就呢啲嘢排泄咗出嚟咧，乾咗咧就形成呢一個朱古力山嘅形狀啦。Joey.
Yeah, I know.
This one, it's a good laugh. It's a good laugh, though.
Yeah.
I still prefer the romantic one.
I think so.
And one
The
last
last
one.
legend, yeah. This last legend is actually a combination of kind of like a gross, but also with a touch of being romantic.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That's good. That's good.
So again, there's like one gluttonous giant named Miguel. He eats everything in his path. Whatever he sees, he eat it.
Oh.
One day, he came to a plain. He saw a beautiful young woman named Adriana. To win Adriana's affection, for him to be able to court Adriana, he needed to lose weight because eating a lot, right? So he needed to lose weight. So he excreted everything he ate. And in the end, those fecal matter covered the land, and he won Adriana's affection. And that's where Chocolate Hills being molded.
Okay. So it's really a combination
Yeah.
of the second and the third one.
Kinda, yes, that's right.
That's actually still funny. Romantic plus funny. 我就話咧第四個嘅傳說咧，其實我就覺得好似將第二個同第三個嘅傳聞擺埋一齊咁，好得意嘅喎。呢個就關於一個好肥嘅一個人啦，好大份啦。咁啊，佢就一路行，總之慣咗啦，要佢一路行就一路食嘢嘅。有一日佢嚟到個平原，就見到一個好靚嘅女仔，佢個名字就叫做 Adriana。咁佢就想得到呢一個女仔嘅歡心，咁咪點呢？哇！第一時間減肥先啦，係嘛？咁啊減肥喎，咁啊點減啊？佢咪就係又係將佢肚入邊啲嘢嚇，即係排泄翻出嚟啦。咁然之後最後呢，佢就即係總之喺佢肚入邊出嚟嘅嘢就喺晒呢一個地度乾咗之後，又形成咗呢個朱古力山啦。但係佢就得到Adriana 嘅歡心嘅，咁起碼都係浪漫嘅，有浪漫嘅元素，亦都有有趣嘅元素。Joey, it's really funny, and thank you for sharing about this.
My pleasure, my pleasure.
Chocolate Hills. I actually quickly just searched about this place and the pictures. They really look like Chocolate Hill.
Yeah, no, it's actually
It's
once it's for real. Like it's kind of surreal. Once you're there, you'll be amazed. That's for sure. I can guarantee that.
You've been there, right?
I've been there. I've been there a couple of times.
Wow.
Yeah. Even if I've been there once, I still wanted to go there. You know, like because again, it's a beautiful site that you wanted to come back. So I think I've been there 3 or 4 times.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. It must be
beautiful. Yeah.
Even I want to go there. And the picture I just saw, no matter if it's in green or if it's in brown,
yeah.
they are actually.
It depends on the season too.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. So again, in the Philippines, we only have wet and dry season, right? So usually, if it's wet, it's kind of like greeny, and then if it's dry, so those grasses kind of like turn into kind of like brown. So it's looks like a more chocolatey.
and I guess because as you said, dry season is actually much longer than the wet season.
Exactly.
And that's why they name it Chocolate Hills.
Chocolate Hills. Yeah.
咁我就問Joey 呢個地方，其實頭先佢講嘅時候，我都好快咁樣睇下啲相咁樣啦。咦，呢個地方又真係好靚嘅喎。咁啊，我望過啲相咧，無論啲山係綠色定係啡色，望落去都真係好靚嘅。我就問下 Joey 啦，其實佢自己有冇去過呢？佢有去過，仲去過好多次添。佢話因為喺菲律賓嘅季節咧，通常都係乾旱嘅時分比較多啊。於是乎咧，就見到啡色咧就多過見到綠色嘅。咁亦都係因為咁，所以呢個名字就叫做 Chocolate Hills。我哋再一次多謝 Joey 今日咧嚟到同我哋分享一個咁多傳說同埋咁可愛嘅地方，呢個 Chocolate Hills。咁我哋咧希望下一次佢再同我哋分享另外一個睇菲律賓嘅地方，咁啊希望咧到時咧我哋又可以再傾下有冇啲咩特別同埋有啲好笑嘅故事同我哋分享啦。咁我哋咧而家咧先休息一陣，跟住落嚟會有啲咩送俾大家咧？跟住落嚟犀利啦，俾啲預告俾大家先啦，不如。因為上個禮拜咧，阿 Mila 同我哋做訪問嘅時候咧，就分享咗一個佢哋叫做 Kamayan Experience， 係一個菲律賓嘅好獨特嘅點講咧飲食嘅一個風俗啦嚇。咁啊，因為佢分享咗呢個經驗啦，同埋呢一個飲食嘅風俗之後咧，好多人咧就開始問究竟咩叫 Kamayan Experience。好，我哋咧就決定咧今集咧不如咧就話俾大家知乜嘢為之 Kamayan Experience。咁大家千祈唔好行開啦，廣告翻到嚟之後，我哋有 Mila 同我哋講咩叫 Kamayan Experience。So we once again want to say thanks to Joey, who comes here today to share about the legends of the Chocolate Hills, which is really interesting. And we can't wait to hear some more places to be introduced by Joey. Hopefully he can come again and then talk and then share with us about some other places in the Philippines. We are going to take a break now. And after the break, what we are going to share with you all is the Kamayan Experience. because last week when Mila introduced the Kamayan experience, we had a lot of feedback and a lot of questions. Okay, so what is actually Kamayan experience? Can you tell us more about this? So this week we are going to tell you more about this special eating style from the Philippines. So just take a break now, and then we will have Mila to explain to us what is Kamayan experience.
On March 16, 1521, when Philippines was discovered by Magellan, they were sailing day and night across the big ocean until they saw small Limasawa Island. Magellan landed in Limasawa at noon. The people met him very welcome on the shore. They did not understand the speaking they have done, because Castilla get at waray-waray man. When Magellan landed in Cebu City, Raha Humabon met him, they were very happy. All people were baptized and built the Church of Christ, and that's the beginning of our Catholic life. When Magellan visited in Mactan to Christianize them everyone, but Lapu-Lapu met him on the shore and dragged Magellan to go back home. Then Magellan got so mad, ordered his men to come up lads. Mactan Island we could not grab, 'cause Lapu-Lapu is very hard. Then the battle began at dawn, bolos and spears versus guns and cannons. When Magellan was hit on his neck, he stumbled down and cried, "Oh mother, mother, I am sick. Call the doctor very quick. Doctor, doctor, shall I die? Tell my mama do not cry. Tell my mama do not cry. Tell my mama do not cry." That's the end of Magellan in the island of Mactan long time ago, ladies and gentlemen.
不如今晚就約埋班 friend 出嚟食飯咯。
好啊，除咗中國菜，有咩好介紹啊？
當然有啦，一齊去試下由享譽多倫多嘅 Casa Manila 餐廳出品嘅正宗手抓飯先。你哋夠唔夠膽接受挑戰啊？
咁過癮，有啲咩㗎？
Kamayan 選用由菲律賓空運而來嘅新鮮香蕉葉做底，鋪滿香軟嘅米飯，而喺飯面更可以選擇多款菲律賓美食精華，炭烤乳豬、咖喱雞、串燒海鮮等等，超過上百款嘅 topping 任你揀啊！當然唔少得精美小食，仲有甜品添，而且每日限量供應咋。我都係快啲打電話去訂翻個位先。Casa Manila 訂座電話416-443-9654，地址879號 York Mills Road Unit 1。
Ever wonder what Filipino food tastes like? Come to Casa Manila. Let Kamayan bring you back to the Philippines. Enjoy amazing dinner. Casa Manila, 416-443-9654, 879 York Mills Road, Unit 1, Toronto.
同 Mila 傾偈真係好開心嘅，佢好多嘢同我哋分享嘅。咁而對我對佢最有興趣嘅一樣嘢呢，就係佢點樣將食物嘅元素，即係應該話菲律賓嘅食物嘅一啲嘅元素放喺個餐廳度，令到佢咁成功呢。咁當然佢講呢樣嘢之前呢，佢做咗一個非常之聰明嘅事情，去到expand 佢嘅 restaurant 嘅。咁我首先就問一問佢，佢做一啲乜嘢咁聰明嘅舉動先。Mila, I know something that your business is doing good, and you are so smart to think of a way to expand your business without a second location. And when I learned about this, and I was like, I gotta learn. I gotta learn.
Well, if I were, let's say, in my 20s and 30s, I would have probably expanded after 3 years. That's when I started to get the hang of things. I worked on the recipes. I, really focused on the food. And then as soon as I felt that, if they come here on a Monday, no matter who's cooking, or a Saturday or a Friday, they're always going to get the same recipe profile no matter what cook or chef is there. When I felt that way, I said, okay, I felt challenged to take it a step further, to give them another experience, which was the Kamayan experience. And the Kamayan experience is actually a very tribal, traditional way of eating with your hands. It's hand to mouth, nature to nurture. And it all started, I think probably if we look back even in your culture, I'm sure that your late ancestors way back when probably ate also from banana leaves. Most of us probably did. That was our beginnings. The difference is the Filipinos continued it. They continued that traditional way of eating at picnics when they were at resorts, seaside resorts, mountainside resorts. They would gather the food, from the fishermen. They would gather it, grill the food, and then they would present it on banana leaves. And your table was completely covered in banana leaves. The banana leaves would be your plate. And yes, and then the food would be presented on that.
Very nice. 我就問到Mila 咧，佢有啲乜嘢 idea 去令到佢可以擴展佢嘅生意，但係佢又唔需要開多一個location 嘅喎。佢點樣咧？佢諗到一樣嘢，佢就想帶給我哋呢個食客咧一個好新嘅體驗。係咩呢？佢就叫做 Kamayan experience。咩叫 Kamayan experience 呢？其實 Kamayan 呢係佢哋菲律賓呢食嘢嘅一個習俗嚟嘅，你可以咁講。其實好耐以前已經有呢個習俗啦。呢個咩習俗呢？其實就係用手食嘢啦。嗱，佢又唔係淨係叫你就咁俾碟嘢俾你用手食喎。佢特別嘅地方就係佢其實呢就會有好多香蕉葉用好多蕉葉呢就鋪咗喺台面度，然後就將啲嘢食呢就放喺啲蕉葉上邊啦。咁即係話蕉葉呢就係你隻碟啦。佢就將呢一個嘅 Kamayan experience 咧，就擺到去 Casa Manila 呢一個餐廳嘅其中一個元素。呢個元素咧就令到佢咧吸納咗更加多嘅客人。其實呢一個體驗真係淨係聽啊，我已經好想去試啦。用蕉葉嚟當碟擺晒喺台面度，哇！我覺得淨係呢一個噱頭已經非常之好啦。So yeah, Mila, tell us more about the Kamayan experience. I can't wait.
It's I call it a feast for your senses, because you're using you're employing all your senses, from your taste to your smelling the food, and then of course, seeing the food presented on the banana leaves, like carefully arranged over, steaming rice on top of banana leaves, which, by the way, the fresh banana leaves, not only does it look pretty, but also the fragrance from the leaves, it really, you can smell it. And then even the taste from the rice, the steamed rice that's put right there, because it's all cooked freshly and then placed on the banana leaves. And then, of course, your sense of touch. And, there was a saying before, it's just, fun to eat with your hands, because that sense of touch, you're engaging with the food in a very tactile way. And now you are experiencing food by touching. So, I've always liked to do that. I would pick up something from my plate and just putting it directly to my mouth. It just had this feeling. And then, of course, not having any plates, anything foreign like china or, stainless steel or whatever, or silver, but just having it completely natural and organic. Mm-hmm. And then, eating off the wiped down fresh banana leaves, and then, picking everything. Now, of course, being in North America, I've made some modifications to the tribal way of eating by giving you wooden spatulas so that when you're moving the food from the center of the, sort of like a long table, a communal table, almost like a log table of a long table, and you move the food. What we do at Casa Manila is we move the food with wooden spatulas because there are people with different sensitivities. And again, we want to be inclusive. We don't want to force anything there. We don't want anybody to be left out because the idea of them, everybody getting from a communal middle might not be their fancy. So we give wooden spatulas. Mm-hmm. And you could move the food. That's the Casa Manila way. And hey, why not enhance the feeling even more? And we'll give you real coconut cups, with liners so you can really feel that sort of the tribal and indigenous way. So, we actually, it's an 8 courses, and you start off with our our traditional soup, and you go into our chicken crackling or chicken chicharron appetizers, and then you choose communally one dish from each category of chicken, pork, beef, seafood, and vegetables. And then as a group, you share that in the middle of the table. And then for dessert, you also have dessert involved as well. And this is where we can have that halo.
Wow.
And also we make it in a big bowl, a big punch bowl. And you can see the 12 ingredients of halo on top before it's mixed, because halo means mix.
Oh, okay.
And so the Kamayan experience to me is the ultimate in Filipino dining. I think in dining, period. There are other, groups, cultural groups that, also eat with their hands, like the Ethiopians and other groups I think I've heard, but everybody does it a little bit different. What I like about the Kamayan is that it's a really communal. Mm-hmm. We are eating and we're bonding together. Through the food.
That's the concept.
The bonding, we are sharing. We're sharing our food together. We're enjoying the food together. There's a special energy that comes out when you're eating in a long table and you're together and you're eating this way. There's a sense of equality and a sense of bonding.
And I really have to translate these to the audience because it is so special. 我好想同大家講一講咧，Miller 同我哋分享佢呢個 Kamayan experience 咧，好特別嘅。佢就話其實所有嘢咧都好似係最自然嘅事，就將所有嘢咧就係擺喺個蕉葉上邊啦。咁你好新鮮嘅嘢食擺喺蕉葉上邊就吸埋蕉葉嘅嗰陣味道，佢就覺得呢所有嘢都係最自然。而佢覺得成件事咧其實佢第一好多嘢食嘅喎，係講緊就成一個8個 courses 嘅嘢食，又有湯啊，又有肉啊，又有埋最緊要女士最中意嘅啦甜品。佢應該先再解釋個甜品。佢就覺得呢一個咧係覺得佢一個好終極嘅一種好原始嘅菲律賓食嘢一個體驗。而呢一成件事又用手食又擺啲嘢喺蕉葉度，冇碟嘅就蕉葉就係你嘅碟啦。成件事佢最主要想帶出嘅一個訊息啦，又或者係佢最主要嘅一個由頭到尾成件事嘅一個 concept 就係咩呢？佢想大家呢係所有嘢都好似好嗰種 bonding 好似大家都係好團結一齊做呢件事，同埋嗰種 sharing 即係嗰種分享。佢會覺得呢一個Kamayan 嘅呢一個嘅食嘢呢種嘅風氣啦，呢一種嘅習俗呢，就係令到大家可以聚集埋一齊，去到分享食物同埋嗰種好親密嘅嗰種嘅體驗。我覺得呢一個呢，就係 Kamayan 食法嘅一種風格嘅最主要嘅重點啦。咁另外佢頭先提到嘅就係一樣好特別嘅甜品啊。其實佢甜品嘅名字已經好得意啦，叫做 Halo。咁原來啱啱解釋咗 Halo 就解 mix mix 啲乜嘢咧？等我哋揾阿 Mila 咧同我哋講講啦。Mila, no matter what dessert, it's what we love. About the halo. Oh, so I just learned that. So halo mean mix. But
yes.
I just want our audience to know. So what is halo? Like, what is the mix?
The mix, okay. The mix is a very, very interesting question because it represents all the cultures that we've been touched by. But we have the beans, the sweet beans, which is like our Chinese friends, the red bean, but we also add the white bean. So that's in there.
Okay.
Jackfruits, the fruits we have in this is a jackfruit, coconut, and we have palm. It's like a palm fruit. It's called kaong. And there's also the gel of the coconut in there as well. And we also have the custard. Okay, we make like a creme caramel, which is like a custard, beautiful custard. And then we also have purple yam pudding. Okay, we also have on there the pandan gelatin, which is pandan is from a lot of the Asian people know is from the leaf. It's like almost how the North Americans use like vanilla extract. We use pandan extract from a leaf. And we also have there the saba banana. And this is a special tropical banana from the Philippines.
Okay.
And then it's topped off, and I could go through a whole long story where that came from, but we won't. And then we also top it with ube taro ice cream.
Taro ice cream.
Okay, the best ube taro because we are, our ice cream is made by Marble Slab. And for the ice cream connoisseurs, Marble Slab. I work with a great man in Richmond Hill, Markham Marble Slab, and he makes all of our signature recipes. And ube taro is on top. We crown the halo halo. It's sitting on top. All those ingredients are sitting on top of shaved ice, finely shaved ice. And then we have a special cream mixture, 3 types of cream and milk, and we pour that on top of the shaved ice. Then we put the 12 ingredients all around in a circle on the perimeter. And then in the middle, we have like the ube taro, which is the number one choice for halo halo because that purple ube taro is, you want to flavor the milk with it, the creamy thing. And we have the homemade ube taro, and then we have the pinipi. The pinipi is like puffed rice flakes, which we puff right there in the kitchen. And then that's it. And if you count all of that, I hope I didn't miss anyone, but there was basically 12 ingredients. And then the young coconut, I said the young coconut. I think I said all 12. And that is called isang dosenong halo-halo, which means 1 dozen ingredient halo-halo.
哇，原來呢一個甜品咧真係好特別，我都好想試啊！佢就咧 Halo 就揀 mix， 即係 mix 咗好多唔同嘅嘢食喺嘢食啦喺呢一個嘅甜品度嘅。咁啊，最主要其實有好多嘢食㗎，咁我都盡量咧講啲我完全覺得我自己都好想即刻去試嘅嘢啦。嗱，佢有唔同嘅豆類啦，有紅豆啦，有白豆啦，有好多水果啊，例如咩咧？呢一個嘅椰子啊，呢一個嘅布冧類嘅食物啦，又有唔同嘅仲有香蕉啦，仲有咧我哋平時咧我哋食嗰啲嗰個 vanilla extract 咧，佢有同類似嘅嗰種葉咧，佢亦都將嗰種葉嘅一啲嘅精華素咧，都係擺咗喺呢一個甜品上邊嘅。而最正就係咧，佢將呢個甜品嗱，首先呢啲全部嘅嘢食咧，就擺喺一紮冰上邊嘅一啲冰嘅碎上邊，擺咗呢一啲咁多 mixture 之後，佢就再喺上邊擺一個芋頭味嘅雪糕，哇，又好食！個色又靚啊！啲雪糕咧，佢仲遲啲，我哋會再同佢了解一下噶啦。因為咧，我哋遲啲咧就會同阿 Miller 咧傾一傾佢自己其他啲嘅 recipe。因為咧，佢呢一個芋頭嘅雪糕咧，佢都係特別咧用一啲特製嘅 recipe 去整嘅。另外，佢就仲有唔同嘅sauce 唔同嘅醬咧，擺喺呢一個甜品上邊，然後你可以揀好 creamy 嘅醬啊，好 milk 嘅醬等等等等都得。哇！佢講完呢個甜品，我已經即刻上去食啦。Mila, you make me so hungry. And I so want to try this. Well, taro ice cream is my favorite.
I know. Now, I just want to say that halo halo is not always 12 ingredients. It can start as low as 5 or 4. Mm-hmm. It's just that my model of halo halo was like after a halo halo that I had at the Manila Peninsula hotel. And I counted the ingredients, and it was the 12 ingredients. And I said, wow, when I make halo anywhere, this was before I knew I was going to buy a restaurant, I'm going to make sure I have 12 ingredients. And so I always remember, you have in Hong Kong Peninsula Hotel, you know, and there's a counterpart, Manila Peninsula, and they had the best halo. And they had 12. And that's why when I bought Casa Manila, I said, I'm going to make it the 12 ingredient halo that every year when I went home, I would have to have.
原來咧呢一個 Hello 咧，佢有好唔係淨止話要擺，因為佢頭先宣傳，即係頭先佢所講嘅咧，就係佢擺12種嘅 mixture 入去呢一個甜品度。其實原來就唔係一定要12個嘅，佢可以擺5個嘅，但係佢曾經試過喺間酒店度試過擺12個。嘅嘢食喺上邊咧係最正嘅，所以咧佢就決定，如果佢將來有一日有開間餐廳嘅話咧，佢一定要擺12種食物喺呢個甜品上邊。真係非常之吸引。
You know, I've just told you a little bit about the kamayan. It's really so hard to describe. So what I did was I arranged through a blogger, a food blogger, to invite 12 food bloggers to experience the kamayan experience and also to try our food. And I thought, you know, what better way than independent food bloggers from different countries. And, you know, the Chinese food bloggers were very well represented. And what they did was they wrote about the experience. And I thought it was so valuable. And if you want to know more about it, you can, you know, like us on Facebook, you know, Casa Manila Restaurant. We're also on Twitter, CA, Instagram, CA, Pinterest, and even our website, casamanila.ca. But, you know, why not read what the food bloggers have written about kamayan, especially if you're thinking of trying it yourself. And it was very helpful because they have pictures and descriptions. So I think it's a good way if you want to know more about it.
阿 Mila 都話咧，其實咧好難用三言兩語令到大家咧清清楚楚明白 Kamayan experience 咧係點樣一回事嘅。佢理解嘅，所以佢好聰明。佢就請咗咧好幾位嘅 blogger 咧去到佢個餐廳度咧試咗呢一個 Kamayan experience 嘅呢一個嘅飲食嘅風俗啦。咁佢試咗之後咧，咁佢嘅 blogger 咧都寫咗關於呢個 Kamayan experience 嘅呢個嘅感想啊 feedback 咁樣嘅。若果大家咧好想知道更加多關於呢一個 Kamayan experience 咧，冇問題，上 Facebook like 一 like 佢個 page， 你就會清楚知道，有埋相添啊，俾你睇下咩為之 Kamayan experience 啊。佢嘅 Facebook 咧嘅 page 咧就係 Casa Manila Restaurant，Twitter 都有個喎，呢個 Casa Manila CA 啦，仲有當然啦，佢個 website 當然更加會詳盡啦，更加多嘅資料啦。casamanila.ca 大家可以上網睇一睇佢嘅餐廳係點樣嘅一個模樣啦，同埋 Kamayan experience 嘅。Thank you, Mila, again for sharing how you share your vision, your food, and this wonderful Kamayan experience to our audience.
Thank you.
And
well,
also
thank you.
the dessert.
Oh,
thank you so much. And
you're so welcome. My pleasure.
And I have to tell you, I am so inspired by your story and your passion of food. And I hope that we can talk about some more about your food, maybe some recipes or anything that you will recommend to our audience. I really hope that we can have an other interview with you about like the recipes and the food.
I would be happy to share that.
Thank you, Mila. 好多謝。Mila 佢今日咧同我哋分享咗咁多嘅佢自己本身嘅 background 啦，同埋咁多關於食物嘅睇法。我就好希望可以再一次同 Mila 再一次見面，再一次傾偈，因為佢真係好好傾嘅。咁我就希望咧下一次佢可以咧同我哋帶嚟更加唔同嘅睇法啦，或者佢一啲嘅菲律賓嘅 recipe 同大家分享下都好啊嘛，係咪？ Thank you, Mila.
Thank you, Janet.
咁同觀眾講聲拜拜啦！嗱，今個禮拜呢，我哋嘅節目呢就完結啦。咁下個禮拜同樣時間呢，我哋繼續有呢個 CCR 文化潮流菲律賓帶俾大家嘅。大家想知道更加多關於菲律賓嘅文化習俗啊，菲律賓有啲咩好玩啊，就記住下個禮拜一收聽我哋嘅節目啦。 Thank you again for listening to the CCR Cultural Trends of the Philippines. Next week, same day, same time, we will be again with you to share about the Philippines experience, cultures, and places for you to travel. See you next time.
Philippines has a great history according to our geography. Manila is the capital city, dating queen from the other country. Metro Manila, Quezon City, Caloocan, Pasay, Makati, Marikina, Pasig, Sapote, Malabon, Las Piñas, Parañaque. From the north, Batanes, Apare, Ilocos Sur, Ilocos Norte, Isabela, Cagayan Valley, Mountain Province, La Union, Baguio City, Nueva Ecija, Nueva Vizcaya, Tarlac, Pangasinan, Pampanga, Zambales, Bataan, Abra, Bulacan, Cavite, Batangas, Laguna. Now let's go to the southern Luzon, Camarines Norte, Quezon, Albay, Camarines Sur, Catanduanes, Masbate, Sorsogon. And we are 3 islands more, Mindoro, Marinduque, Romblon. Then down to Visayan shore, Mimosa, fish, sugar, coconut, and corn. Cebu, Mactan, Mandaue, Bohol, Samar, Leyte, Iloilo, Capiz, Aklan, Antique, Palawan, Negros, Bacolod, Siquijor, Dumaguete. Now let's go to the land of promise, the land of Mindanao, Bukidnon, Zamboanga, Misamis, Mambahaw, Butuan, Agusan, Surigao, Cagayan de Oro, Iligan, Osamis, and the 3 provinces of Davao, Davao